4 seconds. That was enough to make people feel rejected by a conversation they were only watching. In one study, participants watched a video of 3 women talking and were asked to imagine they were part of the group. Then one woman said something slightly uncomfortable. In one version, the others replied normally. In the other, nobody answered for 4 seconds. Same people, same words, one missing response. The viewers came away feeling less accepted, less validated, and more rejected. Then the researchers noticed something stranger. Some participants had not consciously registered the pause at all. Their social system had filed a complaint before they did. Later work found that silence could do more than make people uncomfortable. Among people who strongly wanted to belong, a brief pause after an opinion made them more likely to shift what they said toward the group. The obvious explanation is that silence feels bad because we are afraid of being judged. Nobody is speaking, so we assume something unpleasant is being thought. That is part of it. But it cannot be the whole explanation. The same break in conversation can feel completely different with someone you trust. Research on close partners found that a disruption could sometimes make people feel more understood, not less. The pause could mean, no words are needed. Same silence, opposite message. So quiet by itself is not the problem, and fear of judgment is not enough either. Silence does not arrive with a label. The relationship tells you how to read it. A conversation is held together by an invisible thread. One person finishes, the other responds. A question crosses the gap, and an answer pulls the thread tight again. Nobody announces the timing. Nobody says, your conversational response window is now open. It happens too quickly for that. In studies of friends and strangers, faster responses tracked the feeling that 2 people had clicked. Some meaningful differences happened in less than a quarter of a second, too fast to consciously manufacture. Listeners could also judge how connected 2 speakers were from timing alone, even when they could not understand the words. Someone in the next room can tell how your conversation is going from rhythm alone. Your flatmate has known this about you for years. Conversation is moving between 2 mouths. It is 2 nervous systems sending the same small confirmation again and again. I am still here. I heard you. We are still holding the same thread. Then the reply does not arrive. For a moment, you do not know whether the other person is thinking or whether they let go. The problem is not that silence says something bad. The problem is that silence can mean almost anything. Maybe they disagree. Maybe they are confused. Maybe they are judging you. Maybe the call froze. Maybe they are trying to remember your name while looking directly at your face. Your brain does not like an empty space in a social pattern, so it fills the space, usually with the least relaxing explanation available. That is why people panic and start repairing. They ask another question, they repeat their last sentence in a slightly worse form, they point at the weather, they say, so, Monday. Not because Monday is interesting, because almost any sound feels safer than an unanswered social question. Think about the last time you said something slightly personal and nobody answered. The silence lasted a few seconds. But your brain had enough time to review the sentence, your personality, and possibly your entire childhood. Still, silence is not automatically failure. A therapist may use it to make room, a confident speaker may pause to choose a word, a negotiator may stay quiet because the next person to speak may give something away. The difference is not simply how long silence lasts. It is whether the silence feels accidental or whether someone is still holding it with you. Here, 3 seconds. Nothing broke. Nobody left. And that silence was probably easier to sit through because this time we shared an explanation for it. Silence feels wrong when nobody knows what it means. Your brain is not afraid of missing sound. It is afraid that the shared signal has disappeared. And when the meaning is missing, your mind volunteers to supply one, usually the least relaxing one available. Those 4 seconds at the beginning never said, you do not belong. They never said anything. Your brain wrote the rejection. If this changed the way silence sounds, subscribe. This is Hidden Logic.